I'm going to talk a little bit about Axis Empires, which is a game system that Decision Games is producing on World War II at a strategic level. And of course, this game has evolved over time, and I was involved in some of the early stages of it. Originally, the game was known as Krieg, and it was kind of an innovative design. And I think probably one of the most telling things about it is the way that it handled production in the game. And basically, you had to select a strategy card, which had a name on it that kind of gave you the historical or even alternative history overview of what the overall strategy was. But then the card had a number of things on it, like political things and or production things, force pool entries and things like that were unique to that card. So it was broad, and so they handled a lot of details on one little card, and then you would use that card for the entire season. And then while you're using that card, you had pre-selected the next season's card, which kind of locked you in to a direction that you're going. And also the cards would need to be played as prerequisites for other cards in the future. So you could end up limiting your strategy by certain forks in the road that you take. So it was quite innovative. Now, this game was designed by a fellow named Steve Kosakowski, and the development work was done, by the famous Alan Emmerich. And I got involved in this a little bit fairly early, but I mean the game was done. But I learned of this game in the '90s, and I was contacted by Callie, who at Decision Games, she's Mrs. Decision Games, and asked me to write an article on the game Krieg, and she sent me a copy of Krieg. I don't have that copy anymore. I sold it quite a while ago, but this was back in the '90s, and so the quality of the components is not as good as the games that Decision Games is putting out now. In fact, for example, the strategy cards were perforated, if I remember correctly. They were kind of flimsy cardboard, but the game was really mind-blowing to me. I was very excited to be on it, and I actually wrote the cover article for Moves number 93. And I can't remember what year this was, though. Let's see. Oh, July, August of '97. So I probably wrote the article early in '97. And my article was called Krieg, a Strategic Look at World War II Europe, where I kind of gave an overview of some of the concepts in the game, what I thought about strategy with my limited experience, and then I did a playthrough, an example of play on an Operation Sea Lion event. And then there was another article in this magazine called Krieg, the Designer's Deepest Secrets. So this was written by Steve Kosakowski. So that's a very interesting article in this magazine that he wrote. I don't know if there were any more. There's a lot of ads in these old magazines. Yeah, there's more. There's another article by Steve Kosakowski and Alan Emmerich called Krieg as History. So, can you get a historical result out of this game? And they definitely played out a historical style game. And then we have another article in this one, Krieg as Alternate History by Steve Kosakowski and Alan Emmerich. So, I mean, this whole magazine was a lot of Krieg in it. And that's how I got started in it. A little bit later on, the game was kind of updated with a game called Totaler Krieg. And I have a copy of that game right here. It's in one of the bigger size boxes. And of course, the map was a lot more beautiful than the Krieg map was very, in the old more early decision games, more cartoonish styles on it, but it was purely fun. It was completely functional. And Totaler Krieg definitely, I don't know if I can open this, improved on this, but again, in Totaler Krieg, the cards were perforated again. So, I mean, they were the cheaper cards, which is not what we're used to today, obviously. Well, then they updated the game again, and this has really nice components. This is called Axis Empires Totaler Krieg, and World War II in Europe from 1937 until 1945, and then the sister game, Senso, which covers the Asian and Pacific theater with the same system, and yeah, they sort of could be linked. And you know, I've played those games as well. That's why I sold my original Krieg. I kind of wished I had it for nostalgia, but plus Callie sent it to me, so I wished I had it for that reason too. You know, still nostalgia. What I understand, you know, some have said that Senso has some flaws in it that you can take advantage of if you're a competitive player that's trying to exploit a couple of flaws in it to. I don't play my games that way. I'm playing for the narrative and the experience, and I usually play solo, so I had no problem with this version. Now, I know they've updated it with this Axis Empires Deluxe that has, you know, the whole thing completely fixed, revised, and whatever, you know, in the style of World in Flames Final Edition. I did not buy that. It was a lot of money, but I was completely happy with the component quality of the original Axis Empires, Totaler Krieg and Senso, and I just kept those. I did play both of these games as an entire campaign. You can link them, but as a solo player, I didn't really want to deal with that. So I played each game separately, and then what I did later is I wrote quite a bit about it, and I put them together, the games simultaneously, even though they were played out separate, to give the story of World War II. And I want to look a little bit more into some of that, so I'll probably show some video of those playthroughs. Anyway, I think it's a fantastic game system. A lot of people have spoken positively on it. So anyway, I hope you enjoy taking a look at some of these videos with me.